Muy buenas tardes, gente. I want to tell a little story about someone that's been recently in a lot of people's mouth. I'm not gonna state my opinion about this individual. I'm just gonna tell my story and just allow everybody to make their own opinion about him. Because I heard a lot of different narratives said about this person. That he was a good individual, a writer. Others that he was a dirty person and had it coming, but like I said, I'll leave that open for everybody to decide. Well, like I stated, before, I'm from Northern California. From this town I grew up in, this person had control of two towns on the outskirts of where I was at. You know, and right before I got busted, like in '96, an older cat got there, and he said he was from Sanford, and they called him Güero. He said his cuñados was so and so, that he was up there. So, anyways, he was out there, moving and shaking things for his cuñado. I get busted the next year, so I hit San Quentin. In San Quentin, like I stated before, I was a lifer, and I was trying to put my neighborhood in people's ears. I had that little man's mentality. I had to do the most to impress people. So every time something popped up while I was there in West Block, I raised my hand to do it. I had already pulled a mission, but I got away with this one. The second mission, it was like they threw a meeting, they said this cat, big old cat by the name of Solo, he had to go, and this came from the carnal's, mouth, from Mosca, from Sanfe. Mind you, Güero had hit San Quentin under a violation, so he was there. So me being the dummy that I was the whole time I was busted, I didn't ask no questions. I didn't know. I was a youngster. I didn't know. All I heard was, "You're gonna earn brownie points for this. This guy has to go. Who's gonna do it?" I raised my hand that I would do it. I didn't ask for the paperwork. I didn't ask for the wheeler where it was stated by the senor that homeboy had a bounce. None of that. I just said I would do it. You know, and this is one of the dirtiest things I did in prison, because I believe that when you're going to handle your business, it don't matter what this other individual has done. You, as a man, you have to carry yourself to the point where you got to look in this person in the face and handle your business while you look at him in the face, which this wasn't the case in this time. I was a small cat, 19-year-old, and like I said, this was a big old dude. So we came out to yard, and I jumped on this fool's back, put my legs around him, put my left hand around his neck, and I started going to town on him. I hit him to the point where he dropped on his knees and on his stomach, and I got up and got walked away. I got away with it in a moment, but I guess homeboy told, because they came later on for me. They came and picked me up later, and at the end of the day, I just looked at it like, damn, what it is, what it is. He told because he had already had some shit down south. But anyways, that happened. I went to the hole. At that time, we were going to East Block Overflow, and then you know I got out of the hole. And now fast forwarding a little bit, a couple years later, this is before the Maravilla incident and Hueritos incident in Ironwood. one of the persons that had a mamesa in Ironwood was Mikeo from something. So one day we're there chilling and I see him, I can see it in his facial expression that he has something on his mind, because he was always one of those persons that is playful, he was playful, happy, but that day he was quiet. He was thinking. You could see that he was thinking about something, that something was on his mind heavily. So later on, we took a stroll, and I asked him, hey, ¿qué hubo? What's wrong? ¿Qué traes por la mente? And he just started telling me, that he had a homeboy that he actually went to school with and everything, but that he was tripping. Now, mind you, throughout the years, I caught a little clecha, a little schooling, so I always stayed with that doubt, about solo because I never asked the right question. So I asked him, hey, talking about your camaradas, let me just ask you, do you know about the name Solo? Because, yeah, I know him. He got done dirty, I told him, why is that? So he told me, he ran me down the whole story, Basically, Mosca wanted with one of Solo's sisters, and Solo's sisters didn't want with him, so Mosca told him either you talk to your sister to be with me, or that's your ass, it's your career. Homeboy never did nothing wrong. Homeboy, nothing. This had nothing to even do with him, and that's why he ended up getting hit in some point. I was like, no, I didn't come out, and told him I was the one that hit him or nothing like that, but I just heard him out, and I was like, damn, if it would have been someone else and this fool wouldn't have locked it up and pressed the issue, that would have been my ass. Because everybody knows Moscas wasn't going to back my play out if another canal start pressing the issue. But I guess Solo felt this is his homeboy, the señor from his barrio, and is doing it to him. How can you trust another carnal, right? I mean, if you really think about it, it's what actually makes sense. And anyways, I told him, well, what's up with your camarada? And then he told me, well, look, Mosca and I, we went to school together, everything. And since I have people out there on the streets moving for me, he's been tripping. He don't want a third, he wants a fourth of everything. And if I sell it on the streets of San Fernando, then I gotta give up 50%. And that's a no-no. You can't do that. Well, at least you shouldn't be able to do that. But at the end of the day, they make their own rules. They follow their own regulations. So as a sureño, you can't really say anything towards them. You just gotta either you get involved with that or you just let it ride on the sidelines. And I told him, what are you going to do? Well, he threatened my family that if I move drugs and I don't pay him what's due in town, then, I got a carnal out there that hangs around the hood. So, mind you, my Kiyu's brother, he was active out there. He was doing his thing for his neighborhood. And this is the part that I don't get. I did that with Juanito and I ended up leaving there. I left my Kiyo behind, and later on the line, I come to run across a couple camaradas from something, and in conversations, I would never disrespect someone's trust. So I never once mentioned to them that we had this conversation. It just happened to come out that Mosca did have this fool's carnals whacked on the streets. And this is a righteous soldado from Sanford. Both of them are. So now my Kiyu, he pieced up behind it, and Mosca had the brother taken out. Now, what I don't wrap my head around is how people say that he was a solid individual for the San Fernando Valley or the Sanfer gang. Come on. Well, I'm sorry, I said I wasn't going to state it what I thought, but you know, I kept doing my time, and I came to found out, the things they were doing out there in the towns around where I grew up, because you know there ain't too many Sureños up in Northern California, so basically you're from a county out there, and you know what's going on around the rest of the towns, with the Sureño neighborhoods, and Juanito was out there taxing the homies bad, and saying I'll put you in the head. And they were actually putting people in the head with no paperwork behind it. It was just word to word, what was word on the street that this and that, and they would smuck them up. But they were taking cars, they were taking drugs. They ended up killing a couple family members till what it till Güero got busted behind that. So my question is this. There's a lot of us, because I include myself, because I was a youngster. I never tried to be nobody. You know, I grew up being a sureño. I went in the system wanting to be a sureño. It is why, I never worked under not one individual. I put myself in this position every yard I hit. And since I had the homie shield around me, it is why I was able to assist a lot of different ones, if I could put it like that. You know, but in reality now I reflect, and you know, there's people out there that are willing to do anything to please these people. I tell you, because I have two primos that they messed their date up in prison, pleasing these people, and they're doing life in the system. You know, and at the end of the day, you know, the organization has a lot of good in it. Well, at least the reglas and regulaciones to it, they're all good. But I could actually count with one hand the carnales that actually believe in these laws. I That's why, like I stated before, I don't encourage nobody snitching. That's a Carlos move. I don't encourage nobody to go PC. I encourage everybody to stay solid. Because I understand we're a product of our environment. So we're out there where all there is homie love. Love your neighborhood, love your homie, love your family, and do something. There ain't no thing in loyalty no more. There's never been loyalty, at least not in prison. The only loyalty there is those you grew up with and are running the streets, and that even goes away. Most of the time, when you get busted a month, 2 months over there, and they wait till you get out. But those are the ones that should be first and foremost on your mind. Not this person's, because heads are gonna fall. Believe me, heads are gonna fall. In my first story, I told that that Paisa boxer had whacked in B yard. From that time, boxer pulled out. He said, "Nah, nah, 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 nah. Who's gonna dispute that?" A Sureño wasn't, but due to boxer not taking responsibility for it, Sapo from San Pedro and a couple señores more, they greenlighted the whole yard. So every camarada and every paisa that was hitting the hole behind that, they were getting taken out. Period. Even if they whacked them and couldn't, you know, because none of them got put under dirt behind that. They all got whacked, and they had to go PC or just keep going from prison to prison getting wet. But just think about that. This old man called the shots. They pulls out. The next you know, a whole yard gets put on this. So you know, you gotta put yourself in that state of mind too. You know that there's a lot of PCs that are there not by choice. These persons are really dirty persons that they really don't care. They got one objective, which is money, drugs, and power. You don't fit in those three things. Soldados are indispensable. It's like any war. They send five, six, 10,000, 20,000 soldados, and they don't care if they tell you you're not gonna do nothing here. I want you to it here, even though they know they're gonna lose most of them. Let them loose, and we'll send another 20. That's their state of mind. They're the only ones that count, and not even that, cause they're on each other's throats. But this was just a quick story, just to put a little bit of story behind Mosca and have everybody decide. Was this individual on the hat? Cause we're in Pelican Bay Shoe, we're on opposite side of the shoe, but word of mouth gets around, and I knew since we were in Pelican Bay Shoe, they were actually waiting. They were waiting to get to him behind a lot of this, because I could tell you that he did not just do camaradas dirty, but a couple camaradas or a couple señores from Pacas also got done dirty with some drug that, and it just goes to show, that people are confused just for the simple fact, that this individual did not have nothing positive behind his name. At least if you were a Sureño, there shouldn't be nothing positive besides that he was a Mexican mafia member. It's part of our structure, you know, Southsider, Sureño, Camarada, Señor. Other than that, you know, he didn't have nothing positive to to give for the cause. He just took and took. And the confusion part is people are still out here saying, oh, he was a solid one. He was a writer. Or he was a good man. You know, and it is why there's so many prisons, and is why there's so many PCs. Because let's just be realistic, if it was just sureños, norteños, bulldogs, all this, there wouldn't be so many PCs. But like I said, everybody make their own judgment, and I appreciate everyone who's hearing the stories, and I thank Tony for allowing me to just speak my mind on these topics. Within time, I'll start getting better in telling the stories. I'm still fairly new at this. To be sincere, I haven't found my comfort zone telling these stories, but again, I appreciate every one of you. Hope everybody's blessed. Thank you.